Jones.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spelunkers, a game exploration podcast. I am Tom, joined by Chris.
Hello.
Ryan.
Hello.
And Tyler.
Hello.
And this is our bonus episode for inFAMOUS Second Son. We are doing inFAMOUS First Light, which has Fetch in it. Yay! No,
Yay.
Delson!
Yeah, fuck Delson.
Although we'll get into that. We pretty much have Delson in here anyway. He just has a different name.
That's come on, that dude is way worse than Nelson.
He is a little bit worse.
Okay, so I was telling Ryan this earlier, but the voice actor that is Reggie is also Shane.
No way.
And yes, is the same
which
guy.
tracks?
And it is
Travis Willingham.
Travis Willingham, who is also married to Laura Bailey, who is the voice of Fetch.
And he was talking to her like that.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You should see the way he talks to her on Critical Role.
That's Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
It is Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
I was gonna say I don't know what that is.
Someone go get his nerd card.
So
It's,
that was my fun fact that I had for this.
It's a fun fact.
So
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know
that
that
is
much.
fun.
at first I was just like, man, he sounds familiar. I'm gonna look up who this voice actor is. I'm like, oh, well, it's the same guy. Oh,
Would you like
is
to
it?
know? Would you like to know a fun fact about Laura Bailey?
Sure.
She voiced Keiko Yukimura in Yu Yu Hakusho, which I named my dog after. So, how about that?
So your dog is Laura Bailey. By
My dog
extension.
is Laura Bailey in essence. Yes.
She owes you a lot of money, man, for living in that house. She's making a lot. I don't know if
Yeah.
Yeah. Trust me.
Got
Especially all the grooming.
So any early thoughts before we dive into like the story stuff on First Light?
Why wasn't this the main game? Why was this the DLC?
it's so much better.
That is a fair question. Also, yeah, well, not only that, but why are all the like side quest or just the side stuff so much better
Yeah.
than inFAMOUS Second Son? Like just the races in general. Like I had more
Yeah.
fun doing that than any of the. Sure as hell is better than freaking finding the secret agent.
Yep.
That one was.
Yeah, it's weird that there weren't any
Yeah.
like races really with all the different mobility styles that weren't available in the base game. Although the Neon was always the best movement style, and they just
Yeah.
make it even better here. They take the best style and make it better. So I don't know.
Yeah, they also they could
really
learn
excited.
from the crap that they threw out in Second Son because this came out afterwards. So
Yeah, for sure.
they definitely learned in that short time frame from when that came out and then First Light came out. So
One of the things I really liked about it, besides just like the movement and stuff, is I liked her like regular melee combat. It had like a nice weight to it, whereas like Delson's whip, it always felt kind of off, like his little chain whip. It never really felt satisfying to do. But comboing her regular like bolt neon attack or whatever it was, I
Yeah.
can't even remember what it was at this point, and then her like punches and kicks and stuff, it like felt really nice.
yeah, and then that even with the triangle and square moves you could do to the like when it give you the little prompt. About
Oh
like,
yeah.
To like
Yep.
subdue and.
Yep.
Although those seemed to come up randomly, I never was really paying attention on how that was happening, and then all of a sudden it would just be there. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll do this now. Is there
I think it
something
was
that-
like an upgrade for enhanced melee attacks or something like that.
Were you guys surprised that they didn't do any like karma system stuff in this?
No,
Not really.
Because it's so short, it makes sense, and I also have written down like I'm glad that they don't bother. It's very unnecessary for such a short experience.
Yeah.
Plus, she kind of goes through it herself. Like as she's going through things, like she's like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do this, but I'm just doing it for Brent. And Shane's like, do this, yeah. You're so sexy, and I'm gonna look at you in weird ways, because
But you gotta say it
I'm a
like you're
creep.
from, you gotta say it like you're from Texas though.
yeah, Texas ass.
There you go.
classy jokes here. Nothing but class.
Hey, I actually have that written down because she does say that to him at some point.
Yep.
She calls him Texas. So we start out. It's very similar. The way it starts out is that of Second Son. You get the start screen. You got Fetch and Brent sitting on the rooftop overlooking the city, and it goes with the credit roll. 7 years ago, a small group of humans called conduits emerged, each with the ability to manipulate and even weaponize a unique form of matter. After a string of deadly incidents, the Department of Unified Protection, the DUPES, was created to hunt down and lock up conduits in a specially designed detention facility called Curtin K Station. And as it comes up, we fade into like this wintry forest outside of this facility, where we see Fetch sitting in her nice orange, prison suit with a tank top on. She's cuffed, and Augustine is talking to her, and the voice is kind of fading in and out, like she's not completely focused. Augustine asks Fetch to tell her what happened. She begins to tell her story of how her parents called her in when they found out she had powers for the government to come and pick her up. Her brother Brent helped her escape. Most of this stuff is things we figured out already playing through Second Son. She said they did less than desirable things, and they were just on their way to do one last job so they could get out of Seattle. So when we start off, they're having some banner. They're loading up a boat to do this. Cops end up showing up at the dock, and Fetch doesn't want Brent to get caught. Basically, he must have been doing more unsavory things than she did. So she distracts the cops, says, "Hey, look at this!" and starts. She does her faster than light run, I think is what they call it, and runs away. He's like, "Don't use your power." She's like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna kill anybody currently because I'm not
yet."
Man, that changed quickly, didn't it?
Yeah. As you just basically run through the city, just trying to lose the cops. After you lose them, Brent ends up calling you, saying you have to get to one of these high-rise. I don't remember what it's called, but you have to get there. It's a penthouse. You have to go in there, steal a red duffel bag. You're like, "Oh, no problem." You make it to the penthouse, and there's just a bunch of the Russian Kurans there. You take them out and find the duffel bag, but then you're like, "Oh, look, there's a nice shiny briefcase right next to it. I wonder what's in it. Let me open it up. Oh, it's a bomb. Let me hold on to the bomb for a little while." Oh, the bomb has exploded. You go flying out the window, basically end up on the street. I don't think she doesn't really get knocked out. I think it's more just like a daze because she's kind of. But it's not like the Delson thing where he just all of a sudden he's black and fades to black and he comes back up and it's like, "Oh God, what happened to me?" Brent calls you. He's like, "Are you okay? Were you in that explosion?" Like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" I'm like, "Oh, there was a bomb there. There was a bunch of Russians." He's like, "Oh crap, they found my boss." It's like, "We got to get out of here." So you tell him to get the engine going and you'll meet him there. So you just start zipping across the city. I don't remember exactly what happens, but I know you get there and the boat is on fire. It looks like stuff just blew up.
That's pretty much it.
I believe the Russians may have been there. You find Brent's phone. You start looking for him, and you find his phone because you try calling him. Fetch starts to lose it. Goes into one of those, the stenciled flashbacks, basically. So she has a couple of those.
Yeah.
Throughout.
Yeah. What is she? She's having panic attacks, right?
Yeah. So basically she starts to have these panic attacks. She goes to a happy place, which is always thinking about Brent, which coincidentally has not helped her any times in this game. Every time she has a panic attack and thinks about Brent, she ends up exploding in this great neon light explosion.
And she gets a new ability.
Yeah, and that's how she remembers that she learned these things, because this is all her telling the story, which is how Tyler wanted the next Ghost of Tsushima to happen. Is this where you got the idea? Remember, you're like, "Oh, well, the next one they should do it so it's not so factual. That is somebody telling a story, so it doesn't have to be so baseline and based on truth."
Maybe that was on the DLC.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
No, I remember this. You said this. You said this, Tyler.
Yeah.
I don't know.
These things were said.
We can always go back and listen to it. I won't.
I'm telling you that this is.
I have slept many a night since then.
Right. Well, anyway, you said it, so when I heard this part, I was like, "Oh, maybe this is where he got it from," because this is basically her.
Nope, this is my first time playing it.
Okay.
But if that's the case, they could do it because they've done it before.
Same
So we know
studio.
they're willing to do it.
Yeah. So there you go. Ghost of Tsushima 2077.
Before we get too far into it, were you guys surprised that the Occurrence were in it? I mean, I know you played this before, right?
Yeah, like right when it came out, a long time ago.
I mean, the rest of you, were you surprised that the Occurrence were in it after going through Second Son? I mean, it kind of feels like they did a good job of shedding some light onto them and why they had any reason to be in Second Son at all. But then when you're playing this, it's almost like, okay, this probably should have been a prequel that came out before the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and this very well could they should have put this out before they put out Second Son.
Like a demo or something, you know? Like, oh, hey, here's like a pre-order bonus or something.
Yeah. Also, did you notice that like all of the Russians are Dan Reichert?
No, I didn't notice.
Are they?
I did not.
Oh my god.
Okay. So like
Maybe
when
you
we
have
get
the
to one
Dan
of
Reichert mob.
I don't know. Like seriously, like every Russian I saw was the Dan Reichert skin. Like the bearded face is like literally is him. But I'll get to one of them when we get to that part in the story that I couldn't stop laughing as I was doing this mission.
A couple quick things. At the very beginning, they have like the Halo thing where you look up or down to do your inversion. I don't think they've ever had that in any Infamous game, including Second Son. That wasn't in there, right? But then they
that
suddenly
was
have it here.
with the cop, right? That you had to look at the cop's flashlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool the way they did that.
Random. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think
it's like a staple of, or it was a staple of like determining your playstyle, but now it's just built into the system whether you're inverted or not. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it in a long time. And then also when you're running from the cops before you find the bomb, did that take you guys very long? Because it took me forever. I kept hiding in a building, and then people would walk in. I don't know. It was weird.
I ran into an overpass. I ran underneath there.
No, it took me forever. I feel like I was running around for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
It probably wasn't
very
that long, but it felt forever.
Just a minute or two.
Yeah, I don't think it took me that long.
Yeah.
Got some pro gamers over
Cops don't like you, so it's fine.
I'm great at losing the cops. So what can I say?
here. There we go.
I played many a GTA.
I kept hesitating on whether I was going to turn myself in. That's why.
No, I can't.
I was like, no, not yet. And I just kept running.
I killed some Russians maybe, and a building blew up. And I can't take it anymore. I must turn myself in. But so we flash back after this, after she blows up in this explosion of neon fantasticness, back to Augustine and Curtin K. And Augustine, it continues to talk like she wants you to learn how to use your powers. Obviously, we know that she's creating this weapon out of you just from playing Second Son. So as she's going up, she lets off your little handcuffs because she wants to see what powers you've awakened. And she says, "Don't do anything stupid." Fetch is like, "All I do is stupid." Augustine turns around and says, "No, you're a survivor." And then you get to learn how to use your neon shot with the weak points, which with Delsin made sense because it would basically, for the karma system, it would subdue them or kill them. This one, they're just weak points. I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
It's like a critical hit spot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just you got to shoot this guy here because he broke his arm when he was 12, and that's where it really hurts when he's holding his gun.
Yeah, and it gives you a long story like that every time. I thought that was a weird touch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very much
game.
like Shadows of Mordor, where
Yeah.
uses the Nemesis system and it pops up and it's got this whole long story of how. No, it doesn't have anything like that. It's not that fun.
I did think it was weird that you got their social security number and their medical record number as well. Though.
Yeah, well, that's so you could rob them because you're Fetch.
Yeah, the social security numbers weren't real though. I tried a lot of them.
No, I'm using one right now.
Oh, really?
So basically, it's just in the facility. You just run around, kill a bunch of like holographic dupe guys, save some civilians. After you complete the tasks, you resume your explanation of things that happened in Seattle.
We're missing something here, real quick.
Are we?
Yeah, the holograms aren't just holograms. They were made by Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, dun,
They bring Eugene back in, and I thought that was really cool. And
We
it's
never
like,
hear it. We only hear
Yeah.
of him.
Yeah, all they say is it's another conduit. She says, "Don't worry about hurting them; they're not real. We have another conduit who can make them up." So that's you could tell that was like them forcing Eugene to use his powers when he was in Curtain K as well. So that was a nice little tie-in.
So the last time you go into it, then I knew it because of what you fight at that point. But yeah, I guess I wasn't paying a large deal of attention at this point.
Real quick on the rescuing hostages thing, that was like straight up Resogun. I don't know if you guys ever played Resogun, but like the color, the aesthetic, everything about rescuing those hostages was basically the game Resogun, except obviously doesn't play anything like Resogun.
Yeah, because that's a side-scrolling shooter, 3D shooter that you just spin around in circles and everything turns into little pixels.
Shoot
it came
red
out.
dudes and you rescue green dudes and you drop them off.
It was
cool
launched
game, by the way.
for PS4. It was a free game on PlayStation Plus. I played the living bejesus out of it.
It was one of the
an
few games to
extremely
play on
fun game.
PlayStation. It was a good
Yeah,
game,
like-
but also it was one of the few things to play on PlayStation at launch.
Yep.
So
Right
do you
away.
think that was like a callback to that game?
Probably not. I just really, really reminded me of it. So
Just wanted to bring up Resogun.
I just want people to play Resogun, okay? Matt Miller would be proud of me.
I actually
For
thought
sure.
about downloading it the other day to play, but
Oh.
so funny you bring that up. So back in the city, we get to meet the lovely Shane. I wrote world-class garbage, instant debag, perfect, perfect person to insert while we don't have Delson. Yeah, this guy's. I don't know.
He's more
Really?
hateable, but I'm more okay with his writing.
Well, he's
because-
hateable because he's the bad guy.
Right, but we're not. At least we're not playing him. Like I'm more angry at Delson for those actions because they're forcing me to embody that character. Where here, I'm just watching this guy be an asshole and thinking, "Wow, what an asshole!"
And you get some super fucking sweet revenge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like, it's almost forgivable. It's like, yeah, make this guy as big of a piece of garbage as you want, as long as I don't have to use him.
hmm
Yeah,
But
my
then
exact
going
note is
again-
just screw Shane, what a perverted loser. Because he is immediately like checking you out.
Oh, yeah. His writing was super gross. It's like, you could tell, like, this
Yeah.
definitely did not age well at all.
Well, yeah, that's like because we touched on it in Second Son, just the writing that it's like this doesn't.
Yeah, but
seem
I feel like
that
this was
fun.
way worse.
Oh, definitely
There was
way
nothing
worse.
that skeezy in the first or the last game.
but
They
I
just
think
multiplied it.
here the writing is more intentional. I think with Delson they
yeah,
were
for sure.
trying to be funny and it doesn't age well. Where here, like this is what they were going for with the character.
Yeah. They do a good
Delson
job of making you hate the dude.
Mhm.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't like him at all. So
I don't like him either, but I think he is written very well. Where there's a lot of times where I feel like the writing for Delson was mismanaged.
If,
Yeah, I
if
wrote
there's a
it,
single person out there who actually likes Shane, don't write in, actually. I was going to ask you to write in, but I don't want to hear from you.
I'm gonna cancel that email.
that they would be good friends, Delson and Shane. They would hang out in bars, and hit on ladies.
I don't know. They'd be too busy trying to be the center of attention to be friends, though.
Constantly, just constant pissing match between those two.
Yeah, you can one up the other with the biggest douchebaggery.
Mm-hmm.
Who can outgross the other? Who can make the girls cringe faster?
It's a real contest. I mean, there's no clear-cut winner.
So Shane tells you that he thinks the Russians may have Brent, and they keep kidnapping his employees. So Fetch starts to run off. She wants to find one of the big neon signs to release the gases basically in there, so that will help her run incredibly fast. And they do. Like you end up exploding that one. I don't remember what the sign was, but you explode it, and all the little pretty particles fly all over her. And she starts talking about how they taste as you run through the gas pockets, and she, as they're boosting her speed. And then when you do with the first race and collect the neon lumen, like the one that you chase,
Yep.
it gives you skill points. She's like, "Oh, they taste so much better when they run." So I was like, "Oh, that's weird. Should they have it?"
She's a hunter hunting her prey.
She's
And her
had quite the
prey is
life.
lumen gases of crazy tongue. I don't know. I don't know if you'd want to know what that tastes like.
So-
what do you think that tastes like?
Air. I don't know. I
Chicken?
mean, based off of the color, I would say the red ones were like strawberry, raspberry. The other ones were like blueberry, blackberry, something like that. You know.
Whipped sherbet.
There you go.
Whipped.
Actually, I eat this really good yogurt called oh god, I can't remember what it's called now. But anyways, it's like berry flavored or whatever, and it's shit's delicious. So I would assume it tastes like that.
Well, you gotta say it, then we get sponsorships.
I don't.
No.
Remember.
You don't say it until we get.
It's some Greek
Okay.
yogurt.
Yoplait.
Okay.
Us, Yoplait.
Nope. It's Chobani Greek yogurt. That's what.
Oh, that is good shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree with you.
But it's funny because as soon as like you release the gas in this, is like the game completely changed for me. It's like, oh fuck this! I'm gonna immediately collect every single one of these fucking blue orbs.
Yeah.
Spend the next hour and a half just running all over the city. I did not care at all.
Yeah, I did all of the races before doing the next set of missions.
Yeah. Yep. Same.
And I was like, oh man, well, this has got to be the whole area. So I just did all this. I'm like, maybe this game is kind of short. Like I kind of forgot that. Oh yeah, this is just DLC.
Yep.
Yeah, people like in recent years have made it very clear to developers that they don't want like time trial missions and stuff, those kind of side mission structures in their games anymore. But when it's done well, like here, I love it. Like and in Spider-Man, which I think we talked about when we were playing Second Son as well, they have some time trials in there that are just amazing.
Yeah, and it's not
definitely
even
like
that
it.
much of a time trial. I mean, you're not timed. Just collect this little blue thing, and if it gets too far away, then you just got to do it over.
It feels very
Which I
close to a
think-
time trial because you are just running through rings after a thing, but you can clear it before like the last ring or whatever, which is nice.
But you can
It's
take
more like-
different paths. Like you don't have to go there. You can hit any of those gases to
And
get to it.
Oh, yeah.
and I don't think they necessarily have an endpoint, do they? Because there were some
No.
that I feel like I chased forever.
Yeah, it's
Because
just
I
if
would-
they get too far away from you, I think you lose it.
Yeah, because like there was a couple times where I was chasing after one, and it would like turn a corner real sharp, and I'd be going like this, and just over here, run up the side of the building, and I have to course
Yeah, so
correct.
When you go through like an alleyway and it takes a hard right, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh
it's like,
crap,
shit! How am I gonna get this?
I can't turn on a dime.
Yep.
What is happening to me? So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the racing ones. I thought those were fun. And I also thought that was the only like side mission that was going to happen in that game because I was like, oh, this is all that is here. I mean, there isn't much that layers on top of it, but
Yeah, you
I
get the
enjoyed
camera
it.
thing
I'm like-
later, but
I wish they would have had at least that traversal in Second Son when you could use that the neon faster
Yeah.
than light run.
Oh,
that
yeah.
would have been way better. Hitting those pockets and just boosting, that
Especially when you're up on the buildings and you hit one of those pockets and do like one of those double dashes, and then come back down. Oof. It's
even
fun.
if they had just given you the infinite run from the beginning, that with Delson, that would have been much better. 'Cause I
Instead of
love
being like
that you don't have to earn
unlockable
it
or
here.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use your points to get to.
Talking
So-
about the side things on the map, quick. What did you guys think of the different tagging in this one as opposed to the?
I
spray
enjoyed
paint?
it. I liked it.
Oof. The mechanic super sucked.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
did
the
not feel
motion
good.
control.
Yeah, I was
but I
like,
like the picture.
What the fuck is I was trying to get it to line up, could not do it, could not figure it out. And then I realized it was like the most sensitive touch controls that I've ever dealt with in my entire life. So it was like barely even moving it, you know, I was like
Yeah,
this. And that was the only way I could do it.
Yeah.
but I like
And-
the design of it better. Like
Yeah.
the end point.
Yeah, for sure the visual's way better, but it's weird to me that the spray paint can works and like is so good, and then this
Yeah.
one just feels
Yeah.
horrible to work
Yeah,
with.
it really did. And there would be times where like I'd be like trying to do the stream and it just felt like I was like all the way over here and it didn't matter what I did, I just could not correct it. So I'd have to exit out and go back into it.
Yeah, man, it's hard to control your stream. I get it.
Yeah.
Don't cross them.
Especially when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, they just kind of fell off. I think they didn't want to do it the same way that they did the spray paint can, but they realized that, you know, that was a fun little thing to do.
Yeah.
But they just wanted to use the motion control. And yeah, it just didn't feel right. It was very,
That was a janky mess.
yeah, it was very touchy. Just like Shane. He was
But
very-
the designs and the color and aesthetic of it were awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Agreed.
So Shane ends up loading up a truck full of the Russians' guns, and I think this is the one where you have to jump on top of the truck as he's just like driving around the city, hopping from location to location. You're just protecting the truck. I think this happens 2 or 3 times, at least, in this one.
Yeah, twice I think.
Twice.
Yeah, that's not awful.
Oh, that's pretty fun. I had fun doing it.
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
Sometimes I felt that I was like, what? It didn't make a lot of sense. I know it's a video game, but like, all of a sudden there's cars pulling out of like an alley that doesn't really go anywhere. It's like just a sit-down place for a restaurant, and all of a sudden there's a sideways truck plowing through.
Hey man, they're a gang. They're Russians. They're organized.
There's a lot of Russians. Because you kill at least like 60 on just that first run. Like,
well, you got to think. I mean, there used to be a land bridge that connected Russia to the United States. I'm sure they have ancestors. They crossed the land bridge a long time. Come on.
I like how driving through a diner makes them organized.
Only the most organized people can drive through a diner.
I was gonna be like, "Hey, we're driving through a dino wheel." Like, that's not Russian.
Yes, that is not Russian. That's true.
Jacob, we drive through a diner.
Oh god.
Yeah. Has anybody played GTA 4 lately? Do the voice acting for Nico?
I have not played that in a long time.
GTA I've never finished.
Also, why did they all have plastic surgery to look like Reichert? I don't know. No.
Because they're in a Russian gang, man. They're trying to hide their identities.
I don't think Dan's Russian, is he?
I don't know. I don't know the guy. Could be.
Look it up on Wikipedia. So as you're going along, he says that they start spotting some of your men, and you know, you're hopping location to location. He's like, "You gotta help. They're hunting all my guys down. Please help them." And I think is this the part where you start on those rooftops, and there's like there's this weird light fixture that you just stand by and put your hand on. It looks like a bug zapper.
Yeah, it's like the sniper. They call it the sniper's perch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but what is this fixture that you're touching?
It's a neon.
It's a neon fixture. That's how neon works. You need
a
fixture
like a
on your
Tesla
roof.
coil, in a way.
Oh, I thought it just looked like a bug zapper. I'm like, why are you touching this bug zapper?
It looked like one of those things from like every science fiction movie that like goes up and just collects lightning. You know, it's like one of those circle things. Like, it looked like I was watching like Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, Tesla coil.
Yeah, like a Tesla coil. Yeah, it was probably a Tesla coil.
Something like that.
On every rooftop.
Yeah. So you knock a couple of these. Yeah, why are there so many Tesla coils in Seattle? Like, there's the Space Needle. If it's going to hit something, if lightning is going to hit something.
Nikolai Tesla was from Seattle, Washington, obviously.
Do not fact check that.
Speaking of Russians,
is he Russian?
I don't know.
His name is Nikolai. I don't know. That's kind of
We're not scientists here, everybody.
I know in like The Prestige, he's played by David Bowie. Does that help? He doesn't speak with a Russian accent in that movie, though. So
I feel like I need to know things about Nikola Tesla now.
So okay, you look that up while we go along. So from a couple of these sniper points, you take out some guys, and you're like, oh, well, since they're chasing all of your guys, why don't have all your guys just run to one spot? And she's like, oh, have them go to Olaf's, which I think is the restaurant that you go to in Second Son to find Fetch, right? That's the one she likes to hide out, and there's like takeout food from there all the time.
That was the one I accidentally killed a bunch of protesters.
Yeah, we massacred the innocent.
Oh, I was playing as a hero.
In your good playthrough.
Hey, man. Sometimes you sneeze and you hit the button. It can't be helped.
With the PS3, sometimes you just set the controller down and people die.
People. You never know what's going to happen. So Shane begins to call you the Grim Reaper at this point after you save all of his men. Fetch says, I'm not a monster. I'm just trying to help my brother. She's, of course, she's not a monster. Look how many people she just killed. Shane tells you he has new info on where Brent might be. And you're like, oh, well, you're not such a bad guy after all. And he responds, does that mean you're finally going to let this old cowboy ride the bull?
God damn, I can hate that dude.
Fetch responds, bulls are all males, dude. Shane's like, oh, well, you know what I mean. It's like, oh, my God. Even the phone calls are cringy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's funny when you say it out loud, though.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I forgot that line specifically.
I made sure to write it down because of that.
I'm gonna go say that to my wife after this call too.
That's going to end very well. I can tell you right now. Perfect. Chef's kiss. So this is where you are introduced to Jenny. You know, Jenny from the block.
Oh, Jenny.
Yeah, and
Who
Forrest Gump is
is-
there, which I thought was weird.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
He's
she
sitting
came,
on a bench.
she came out of nowhere. I love you, Jenny.
So she works for the city and sometimes Shane. That's what she tells you. So this is the part I was speaking of earlier, when we get to the Reichert part. So this is where she gives you an app on your phone. You can go around scanning these camera feeds. And basically you start trailing this Russian guy who has like in the cameras like a pink tracksuit on and has the face of Dan Reichert,
Oh my god.
who is creepily following this lady through all of these alleyways. Like, I don't know, like, did they know that he used his face for this character? Like,
I don't know. I think it's probably just random. I guess that's weird.
I didn't even notice. I was just more
Okay,
concerned with this
it
creep
cannot
in a
be
pink
random.
tracksuit.
because I had it and then I watched a video on YouTube and that guy also had the Dan Reichert face. So it can't be random.
Okay, when you look at my face, do you see Dan Reichert's face?
We see two dancing blocks.
Yeah. It's going like
the
this.
illusion.
Okay.
What's up with this guy though? He's like following this lady to abduct her, but he's just wearing this bright tracksuit. Like,
Yeah.
you're the least sneaky person
stylish.
I've ever seen.
And what's annoying, right, is after he's like trying to be incognito for so long, you follow him for like 6 blocks, follows her up the stairs, and then the first guy that she's like, "Oh, I think I'm getting followed," just shoots him in the chest. It's like, "Fuck it, I don't care."
It's on now.
Yeah, oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then she runs and hides between a dumpster and like
Nothing.
another like garbage can. And it's like, why would you stop there? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Get in the dumpster.
But
And
then
he literally just walks up to her, puts his gun in her face, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, here comes more of my gang. We're gonna get you, but I'm gonna drop my phone."
yeah, oh my god, that makes me so angry. It's so stupid. Why would this professional? I mean, he's obviously not professional. He's wearing a tracksuit and he shot that guy randomly, but still, he dropped his effing
Tracksuits are
phone.
professional for Russians.
Okay, maybe. It's just it's the dumbest thing that he just legit dropped his phone.
Yeah.
And
Maybe he had a hole in his tracksuit.
Oh, in his pocket, because little extracurricular activities while chasing down these ladies.
You get it. This guy gets it.
Just fell out their pants like, it's okay. He's a human trafficker. They probably do
He's
stuff
done
like
worse things than.
Listen,
that. I mean,
he's a human trafficker in a. I was gonna try to make a joke. I can't make it work though. Fuck it. Move on.
Pause the podcast. We can workshop it.
I think something about a human trafficker in a tracksuit. I don't know. I couldn't get it
track
to work.
thicker. Yeah, I like that. that
Track
a
human
track
tracks.
thicker.
Track.
I don't like that actually. That
Trackstar?
sounds very bad.
This joke is a fucking tragedy.
that's train
I
wreck.
can't even get that right either.
So then
Words are hard, guys.
Jenny comes back and she's gonna trace his SIM card so we can find Mr. Human Trafficker Reichert. Shane calls you and tells you his guys got ambushed and he needs more help. Like, he needs better guys at this point because why are they always getting ambushed and kidnapped? Like, what kind of men did he hire initially?
And it was at this moment when I was like, "We've reached the variation limit."
Yep. This is
it.
no, not really, because the dupe come in later. So
We have reached the variation limit.
you could kill civilians if you wanted. I mean, that's still a thing.
What are you doing, Tom?
I mean, there was no karma system in this, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
So you didn't really need to either, though. It's the thing. This is just your personal
I think
morality
it's
at
just
stake.
habit from playing Second Son.
I think you just really fucking hate Seattle.
I've never been there, but
Seems like you
There's a
got
lot
a
of-
deep-seated hatred somewhere in your subconscious.
who knows? Maybe I just want to be there, and that's why I hate it so much.
Yeah.
If I can't have it, nobody can.
Yeah. It's going down with me. Shane says he can see how much you enjoy being the Green Reaper. Again, you say, I'm just helping my brother, Brent. I'm not a monster. Pretty sure you're a monster, lady. Once again, you take post up on a rooftop to protect Shane's men from the Russians who just come at you in waves. And you're just sitting up there holding the bug zapper. And what is going on with the weird cooldown? Like, so there's that cooldown when you're firing. It's just like a little half arc over the top that just drains your energy, and then you gotta kind of wait. Like, you could still shoot, but it doesn't do as much damage because it's just like explosive shots if you hit them in the head.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing. Is I was waiting for them to group up, and then I would shoot one shot and make it explode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at this point there's like a crap ton of cars in front of you. You're like running through a parking lot.
Making them explode.
There
That's
was
fun, dude.
definitely a lot of stuff exploding at this point.
But it was like when you're doing this mission, I was sitting there playing it and sniping everybody and making them explode, making the cars explode. And I was like, I think this is more fun than any of the missions that you do in Second Son. You know?
Well, and it's a lot more satisfying hitting them with that than the weird crap Delson's throwing at them.
Yeah.
Yes.
They just definitely, at least they straightened some things out for this, even though it was just free DLC. I don't think, I think if you got it initially, I'm pretty sure I got it on PlayStation Plus.
I don't think
Probably
First
the
Light was
majority of
free.
people did. Well,
Yeah,
I didn't pay for it.
I think First Light was free because I got it.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah,
They gave it away, but I think when it first came out, you had to pay for it.
yeah, correct. That sounds
I
right.
remember paying for
Yeah, I
it.
definitely didn't pay for it. So, free for me!
Not for me.
Not really. You're paying for PlayStation Plus, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna play for it anyway.
Yeah, like if I want to play online, I gotta pay for it. Now this is free on top of being able to play online. So, it works itself out. Yeah, I know, just killing a bunch of more Russians. The Arkurans, la-di-da. It's the whole thing with this first area. So after you kill a bunch of them, you get to go hop on top of a truck again. Yay! Shane's like, you could be very profitable. And Fetch is like, no, I don't want to be here. The dupes are going to show up. I want to get out of here. And he says, I know where they're keeping the hostages. You should come meet me over here. And we'll hop on this truck, and then we'll drive to the pier. And we'll go and use your new weird infrared vision that shows you the neon insides of people that are hidden in storage containers. But it doesn't show you all the people. I was a little confused by that, but it's a game, so.
Yeah, that was weird.
So you kill a bunch of Russians, look at a bunch of storage things. Oh god, of course Brent's not here. DUP shows up on the shore while you're on the docks. Magically, Brent calls you. I have escaped. How did he escape? Like, okay. Just math confusion, I guess. So you escape the DUP, you're running across the city, and she begins the inner monologue. Oh, I'm just so excited to see Brent again. Like, you're running along. It's like, oh, I'm so happy. I just can't wait to see him. Can't wait to see him. You get there, and there he is, and Shane turns into a bigger dirtbag and kidnaps your brother.
What? Shane betrayed me? Oh my god, I'm so shocked. I can't believe this.
Very
The most
So-
mind-blowing moment of 20, whatever the fuck year this came out.
So, instant flashback, cool little stencils. Fetch talks about being a cockroach and how much she loved being a cockroach, getting hooked on drugs, and it felt so good. And
Yeah, it does.
she loses control and explodes again. Let's go back to Curtin K. Augustine's there. Yeah, it appears your body is quite resilient. You ask her if she wants to see it. Your body, I guess.
Ayo.
that's not how
That
that
kind of a
happened.
game. It is
Where's
that
your head
kind of a
at?
game. And you now show her your stasis blast, which is your little like grenade move.
Mm-hmm.
Makes them pop in the air, and you can shoot them, and they explode into pretty little lights. It's like Christmas.
I love that move. It's awesome.
It's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
it is a lot of fun. All of her moves are a
Yeah,
lot
they
better
rock.
than
They're
most
so
of the
good.
Deltons, So
Yeah, we didn't really talk about the neon singularity earlier, but that's really cool too. Her like, it's not a karma move anymore. It's just.
I don't think we
kills them.
unlocked it at this point.
Yeah, I think you get it
it
really
depends
early,
on
like
how
after the
far
first
you
race.
run with the points.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if you didn't get a lot of points or didn't put points into whatever that is, then
I
you
think
don't get
you
it.
do
But
it to the
basically-
occurrence right after that first race. I think they make you. Pretty sure you get
Yeah.
it for free. I don't think it's on the
Well, then
Switch.
Yeah, that
haven't-
move is super sweet, and I like how it like slowly builds up as you take people out. So it's more based on like just how much destruction you're doing against your enemies.
Yeah, my favorite thing about her moveset though is there's a skill somewhere in the skill tree that makes it where whenever you shoot a weak point, your slowdown refreshes, so you can just have like
Yep.
perpetual bullet time, and it's amazing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really delve too far into the skill tree
Wow.
because it wasn't that interesting to me.
Oh, it's a pretty good skill tree.
I'm embarrassed to know
It's not a very expansive skill tree, but there's fun
but
skills. To
Yeah,
be had
like
there.
the stasis stuff super helps out, and the recharge rate and getting that to be faster. It was nice. It helped out later on.
I don't know that I had any problems in this game.
One area had a
very
little
hard.
bit of
Got a pro gamer over here. I said it earlier. I'll say it again.
Well, I think after I got all of the race points, I think whatever I unlocked at that point was the extent of what I unlocked the entire game. And I never went back into the skill tree.
That's all right.
But who knows? So, yay, you get to throw your little grenade thingy. Makes them go boom, boom. You get to do 10 waves. Well, actually, Augustine asks you why you didn't show her this before. And you're like, well, you never gave me anything worth fighting that I needed to use this before. So then she's like, okay, here we go. And then put your cuffs back on, walk through another part of
She turns into Mario and says, "Here we go," and then you run to the next area.
she throws some mushrooms at you. You eat them. Everything's better. You start tripping balls. Run through a hallway to another part of. the
She's actually
complex.
clean, Tom. She wouldn't do that.
I'm not that clean because she does take some drugs, not on purpose. Not that long before she's back in there. So
All right, we walked our way around that. That's okay.
Moving on.
you go to another part of the complex and you get to kill more of the holograms made by Nerd Boy.
Is this when they start bringing in the demon ones and the angel ones?
Nope, that's
I think
the
that's
next
only
time.
the
That's
last
the
one.
last time. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's the third time. This one is the one where you get to hijack the auto
The
turret.
turrets, yeah, okay. That was pretty fun too. I
Yeah,
did
you
like
got to
that.
shoot the neon lights out. I think it's like you got to survive 10 waves after the initial she says make this. Augustine tells her to make this reality her own, or make her own reality,
Yeah.
and then somehow that means you get to overtake auto turrets.
What's funny about it, right, is they like give you this playground to do all these different challenges and stuff because you can go back once you beat this part and do the different challenges in there. It's like they knew, they're like, yeah, we made a really fucking good combat system here because in the Second Son there is nothing like that. You don't get any kind of wave-based thing. You don't get any kind of combat stadium that you can just go and practice these different moves and like try to like get a good score or whatever. I think they knew back then like that the combat just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, but they did in this DLC. They have it where you can do a lot of these combat scenarios with Delsin as well.
Oh,
I don't know if
really?
you did any of that?
Say
yeah.
what?
I didn't go back to do a single one other than the ones the game made me
Yeah, I
do.
didn't do any of them either.
Yeah, I didn't
I don't love the arena challenges. The combat is very fun, but I just don't love like arena-based challenges like that.
Yeah, agreed. It's like Borderlands 2, I think, had like Mad Moxie's whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
that's like the
know
least
Ryan,
fun
what you're
DLC out of all those
I
DLCs.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
I think if anybody knows what you're talking about, it's Ryan.
I think it's the first one. It's the first one that has Mad Moxie's like dome or whatever.
It's the first one. Mad Moxie's Underdome.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Which is like Mad
Not
Max
fun.
Beyond the Thunderdome.
It's arduous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never went back and did any of these wave fighting things aside from going forward.
Yeah, that's the main thing I need
Yeah.
for the platinum is to do all these, but I refuse. I refuse, I say.
Screw it.
So if you
Who needs to
complete
platinum every
these,
game?
which I assumed you completed it, Augustine says, if you keep impressing me, I'm going to put you to work. You're going to be one of my guys. Well, I think at some point she also tells her that all of the DUP people are conduits that were troubled, and the way they got to be agents is they had to survive, and then you have to survive, and then that's the waves. So,
And that she's a survivor.
yep, she's not going to give up.
And that she loves
She's
you
gonna
and
try
wants to be
harder.
your mommy. Oh no, that was just in my game.
I don't remember.
I didn't get that part.
It was a different game I was playing. Sorry.
As you get back to the city, Shane now is going after the police and the DUP. Because with the Arcurans gone, now the DUP is after Shane and his men. Once again, his men are in trouble and need you to save him. You just get to do a bunch more of kind of the same old missions. Save his men, keep Brent out of trouble. You take out one of the DUP outposts, which is very similar to the early outposts in Second Son. Before they became like all concrete-y. It's just, yellow fences, and basically Shane's men are being held in the conduit lockups, I guess, is what they were. Little detention fence areas that Stubbs would blow up and I let the people suffer in, and you guys would let them go.
For their
And that's how you
puppies.
free them.
They had puppies to feed, or kittens, or whatever it was.
Yeah. I got puppies to feed. Let me out. So you get to unlock that, or you set a bunch of his men free again, and then Jenny calls you. Or no, Shane. This is when, after you rescue them, she calls Shane a Texas. Great writing.
Ooh.
And then he gets mad, and he's like, if you cross me, he threatens to cut off little pieces of Brent. And he's like, maybe I'll start with his ear. Or maybe something else. Lady's choice.
Gross.
He went straight, like, sadistic.
He gets very violent very quickly.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand the ramp up to that. If he was like, I don't know.
I think he was
like
just
that, or
yeah, he was just faking being a quote unquote nice guy to begin with, to like get Fetch under his control. It seemed like that was my understanding of it.
Yeah. He was trying to be like the manipulative boyfriend who wasn't actually a boyfriend. Just manipulative, but not very good at it. I don't know.
yes, that sounds
Because
right.
it seems like he was chasing her more than she cared about him. She just wanted her brother, so
Yeah.
I don't know. So we get to interact with Jenny again. She tells you about these fantastic drones that are flying around, but this time she is doing it under the radar. She doesn't want Shane to know. So I didn't mind this one, where you get to hack into the cameras basically of the drones and then try and figure out where they are from where you're standing and destroy them.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good little side thingy.
Yeah, it's a fun
Minigame?
little activity. It's a lot like the hidden camera in Second Son, but more interesting because it's not a stagnant
as-
camera.
Yeah,
That's like,
not
oh well, that's
done.
behind me. Okay, cool. Done.
Yeah, I guess it had like a more fun puzzle aspect to it of like figuring out where your location was compared to the moving target, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas before it was just a stationary thing.
So you go from a couple locations, and then every time Jenny's like, okay, here's another one over here. And she's like, oh, they just released a new one. It's moving a lot faster than the other ones. Fetch is like, I'm good with fast things. She runs faster than me.
That's exactly what her animation looks like
Hell
too.
was that?
That is a GIF right there. That's what that is.
That is the
Audio
faster
listeners
than
have
light.
no idea what just happened, but that was something.
It's the most beautiful
Isn't
running
it
animation you've ever
gold?
seen.
Internet gold is what that is. And it ends up being an attack helicopter.
What?
Oh my god!
I thought it was a drone.
Really
There's
fast.
an attack
I mean, it could
drone,
be a drone.
very large
Yeah.
attack drone.
It was a
You don't see
drone on
anybody.
steroids.
You don't see anyone piloting it, so I guess it could be unmanned.
It was the drone after it hit the gym for a couple weeks. Turned into a helicopter.
Yeah.
You even lift, bro?
What did you do during quarantine? This is what I did.
And then it turned into Starscream, and then you're just fighting a transformer. That's
my
video
God.
games, baby.
That would have been a jet. Starscream is a fighter jet. Come on.
Whatever, fuck it.
Nerd.
Come at me,
Jenny,
nerds.
after you explode it in a nice fiery,
Yeah, when you
mess of.
did you guys get slowdown when you killed the chopper? Because I had like 2 frames a second after I killed that chopper. It was
I don't
insane how bad
remember.
the
I don't
slowdown
think
was.
I don't
so.
think so.
I don't know.
You guys will probably be seeing it if you're watching the video version. You'll see that slowdown. It's insane.
Unless you use my B-roll, then you may not, because I don't know if it happened.
I want you to see the slowdown.
But make sure you time that up right there. We need the helicopter exploding right now. Oh my god, that was awesome! Look at that slowdown.
Wow, it's like we were professionals.
It was crazy.
Jesus,
Like 2
holy
frames a second.
cow. Jenny apologizes to you. I didn't know it was a helicopter. She couldn't tell from the feed. Then you get to go to more drone locations. And she's like, I cracked the code to figure out where Shane has Brent. Fetch is like, I forgive you for the copter thing. Jenny says Shane is starting to throw people in shipping containers, just like those damn Reicherts. I said damn Reicherts, not Dan Reicherts. Just,
Boo.
The Russians. He's doing what the Russians were doing. So you get to go start looking in containers again. Because why wouldn't you want to go look in more containers? But this time, it's funny because when you get to the first one, like, oh, hey, it's the weapon. They talk about you all weird, or like Shane's girlfriend, or they say something really strange. And then you kill them all. Like, hurry up and do it faster. You got to get to them before they call. How are they going to call? They're dead. And then you find out, well, they have to report in like something ridiculous, like every 5 minutes to Shane.
Yeah, but then you have to like run through the neon rings to make the timer go up, which I mean, this is a video game. It's a video gamey thing. I get it. It just doesn't make any damn sense that running through those clouds somehow makes it take longer for him to call his men and see where they are.
It just makes you faster. It's hitting this weird time continuum.
Yeah, it's like you're going faster, so time is increasing because you're able to decrease your distance between one spot to the next.
Just read the Flash comic book. There's something in there where you.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, the time dimension. I see.
Yeah, it's like a. What is that? The
time dilation.
Yeah.
Time
dilation. What is it in the Flash? Oh my god.
No, that is the actual term for it. It's the dilation.
It's the speed force. There you go.
The speed force.
God.
All right, we'll take your word for it. I don't remember. I've forgotten it.
It's the speed force. That's what's in the Flash.
Yeah, so you got the speed force going through the gaseous circles to get to all these storage containers and open them and find nobody. And then, of course, oh no, this just comes out of nowhere. Oh, Shane figured out what you were doing.
Seriously, after the second...
Jenny.
You'd think after the second empty container, Jenny would figure it out, because she's clearly very smart, and she would leave. Why is she like, oh, let's go to the third container quickly. Maybe he's there. Like, just leave, lady. Something bad is happening.
I'll be honest, I did not see this shit coming at all.
Maybe it's because I played it before. But...
I think I saw it when there's a point where Jenny says she's just doing this to clear her conscience, and Fetch is like, well, what did you do that you were doing this for, to clear it? And Jenny's like, well, just buy me a drink on a beach sometime, and then she'll tell you all about it. I'm like, okay, well, she's going to die. We're never going to figure it out.
I did not even think about that for a second. I was like, I don't know. I was just playing the game, man.
I'm with you, Panda. Yeah, okay, I knew it wasn't going to go right, but...
Before he actually figures this out, Shane calls you, and he asks you what you're doing. He's like, you seem out of breath. And he's like, are you thinking of me shirtless on a horse again? It's
and I was very scared because he looked directly into my thoughts in that moment.
Writing. Just spot on.
It keeps me picking up the controller.
Yep. So yeah, now Shane finds out, and he's like, well, it was a test. It was a test for Jenny to see if she was still loyal. And she failed. And he said, no, it was me. It was all me. It was Fetch. Please don't hurt Jenny. I need her for my box of chocolates. And he's like, oh, she stepped out. But you might be able to catch her. And so you run really fast, and you find her underneath like this weird fire escape in an alley. So when he says she just stepped out, did he like push her off the top of the building? And if he did that, how did she hit right there? Because the entire top is covered with like a weird fenced mesh fire escape. Like there's no holes in it. I was very confused on what happened to her right there. Because it looked
She
like
was murdered.
Well, I know she was murdered, but how she was murdered? Because it seemed like she was pushed. It sounded like she was pushed, but there was no place for her to fall.
I just thought it was weird that after she died, she made you adopt a little kid named Forrest.
He just kept wanting to give you chocolates. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Visual laughter only.
come fetch me.
You know, I was
Hanging
really
out
trying to
here,
make that
touch
Forrest Gump
joke
joke work,
55
so
minutes.
slide
I
that in
mean,
there.
he probably could have done something more with Run Forest Run with the faster than light when we were talking about the gases earlier. Slowing down time with Jenny.
Rewind the podcast.
So you got to cut this section out and then put it in the beginning.
We're
I might get
recording this
confusing.
one backwards.
Yep. So yes, Jenny's dead. Fetch is sad. Very sad. I think she cries. Tears.
I don't know.
And then she has a panic attack.
No, not yet.
I lied.
Shane tells you that Jenny knew the price of betrayal, but do you know the price of betrayal? And Fetch is like, yes, if I betray you, my brother dies. So now Shane wants to meet with the chief of police. So you have to cause a bunch of destruction, which is actually pretty easy because I think you just have to use like the singularity thing once, like on a busy road, and it just sucks all the cars in and they blow up.
I didn't think of that.
Yep, I didn't think of that either. I just blew up every fucking car that was around me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's easy enough too.
punching cars to explosions.
Okay, well,
This
after
This
cause
mission is
enough
weird though,
destruction-
real quick, because he tells you, "Hey, I need to talk to the chief. Get rid of those cops." And she's like, "I refuse to kill those cops," but then she just like kills a bunch of civilians instead. How is that better? Why is that better, lady? And then she has to kill the cops anyway in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
She's not a monster, all right? She's just
She's
doing
a
this for
fucking
Brent.
monster.
Yeah, as she was killing those people, she's like, for Brent! Ah!
All right. Yeah. So what I find is weird is when they're doing the camera for this, they show him like walking into a building. Yet after you cause all this commotion, for some reason, Shane's talking to him in this weird back alley.
I don't know.
Like, I
Maybe they
thought he
went
would've
through the
went
building
into
and
the-
through the back of the building.
Maybe they were done with their meeting. Maybe it was supposed to take a lot longer. Like Stubbs and I's.
Well, but then you get there to where he's having the meeting, and you have to defend them from the cops as they're running down the alley, as you're holding another bug zapper.
Who the fuck knows?
That was the only time I had any trouble in this game because I would inevitably miss one cop, and once they get past a certain point, you can't aim down and shoot them anymore.
Is it just
There's
instant
an
game
L turn
over?
in the alley.
Is it just instant game over if one gets past?
Yeah,
Oh Jesus!
yeah.
I
I think
didn't-
I had to restart that. I think 3 or 4 times before I finally got through it.
Also, you think these cops would like learn at some point to stop running down that one hallway that you have perfect aim down?
Yeah, what the fuck was that? They're just like
Same alley.
together. It's like I have blown like 6 of you up at the same time at this point. So
Well, I think there's a few that like go up on the rooftop. They'll
Yeah,
have
yeah.
snipers
That's true.
occasionally that are up on the rooftop that shoot,
Yeah.
but it's only like 3 or 4. Like I remember after doing like 2 of them, I like would shoot the alley and then look up there and there would be nothing there. And then
I think
they'd
I might
come
have
back
played
up.
on a different difficulty than you guys then because I had a fuck ton.
Oh. I don't remember there being a lot of snipers, but
I do. I
I
remember
think
there
it was
being
only
like
4
the
or
earlier
5 for
parts
me.
with the Russians when you're doing it, I remember there being a lot more
I
snipers.
remember there being a lot of snipers that through that part specifically. Yeah.
Just 2 or 3 there for me, something like that.
So after you're done clearing away the police officers, Shane calls you and he's like, "Oh, the chief of police has something to tell you. I'll give you your boss this, or yeah, I'll give your boss the same deal that I gave the Russians as long as you leave town." So Shane's then like, "Okay, so all you gotta do is leave town and you get Brent, and then I get everything that I want." So he tells you that he has Brent somewhere. I don't think he tells you the name of the building, but he gives you the location of where he is. So you run there. faster than light. And oh, look at that! Shane double-crossed you. It's a building that is being filled with poison gas.
It's a trap.
Yeah,
It's a trap.
this is actually the building
Hey.
that I finally managed to escape the cops in way earlier too, like the exact building, which I thought was funny.
It was filled with gas back then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get there, and well, you start coughing, and he gives you a deal like, oh well, you're a liability that I got to get rid of. So I hope you die. You're not getting out of here. You pass out. Of course, you think back to, or you start having your little panic attack. You think back to Brent, and this time it's when Brent was trying to get you clean, to get you out of Seattle. He was doing very risky things, and she didn't really realize what he was doing until he came back and was like missing teeth and like bloody. He was all getting beat up. So then she's like, I'm gonna quit cold turkey. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do it together. We're gonna go to Canada. We're gonna get a boat. And that's how we will escape. And then she goes, ah, neon,
Kablooey.
blow up. Let's go back to
That
Augustine. Yep, so it's that exact motion.
I was gonna say that exact level of emotion.
There's a lot of emotions are running.
Also said kablooey as well.
Yeah.
So, we are back at Curd and K. You show your neon missiles to Augustine.
I'm sorry, what was that?
What was that, Tom? You want to angle the camera down a couple inches?
This is an audio podcast too. Dude. People are missing out.
I know. This is to get them to watch the video.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Neon missiles.
like
Get
a
it?
weird flapper girl.
So this is when
Is that
I
like a
realized.
red rocket? Is that like the
What?
same thing as a red rocket?
No, that's a dog's wiener.
Thank you. That's the joke.
Oh, this podcast.
Let me get a pen and paper. I'll cross that one out. That one's not working either.
Somebody timestamp these so we know where they are. Make everyone aware of all the funniness.
Yeah, that's great.
So you kill some demons.
Yeah, so this is where I realized that that Eugene is doing most of this stuff because you're fighting the demons at this point. And they're not really as hard to kill as the ones that you fight in Second Son. But
No.
it's again, you just run around this other facility part of Curd and K, kill a bunch of the demons made by Nerd Boy Eugene, who you don't see. Well, you do see at the end, but different reasons, I guess. Yeah, you just kill a bunch of guys, and then it's like back to reality. Here we are. You wake up, and there's a bunch of Shane's guys standing over you saying, I hope she's dead. Pointing guns at you. I mean, why don't you just shoot her body? Like, okay, she passed out. I hope she's dead.
I hope she's dead.
And then they're dead because you kill them. And you're like, oh, you got to communicate somehow. So you take their little headset earpiece, Bluetooth probably. And this is where you got to travel up and use the satellite dishes to pinpoint the trucks, the drug trucks of Shane. I enjoyed this part. I thought it was pretty fun. Some of the trucks were moving, some of them weren't. But I liked the banter over the radio from the guys. Like, oh, God, I think she's behind me. And you're like nowhere near the guy that's talking to you. And it's like,
Yeah.
weird. But I enjoyed chasing down the trucks, blowing up all their drugs, and then carving in the sweet, sweet graffiti into the sides.
Yep.
Do you remember your favorite graffiti that you carved into the side of the trucks?
It's been like 2 weeks.
I think
probably the first one, the Grim Reaper.
is that the one that was holding the noose?
I think so.
Yeah, that was mine.
There was a giant mousetrap one.
Oh yeah, I do remember that one. That was good too.
There was one that was like a snake cut up. It was like those sections of the snake that were cut up, and there was like needles jabbed into them, holding them in. There's a
Hypodermic, don't
hand.
tread on me.
Yeah, there's a hand holding some money on fire. Just a bunch of weird stuff. I just thought those looked pretty cool.
They were all pretty cool, but like they only came back to my memory as you were explaining them.
Yeah. Well, I also just watched all my stuff and made notes this morning. So. Shane's not happy, as you would imagine. You're destroying all his drugs. He threatens to kill Brent, and you're like, "No, I'm gonna call your bluff. You're not gonna kill Brent because if you kill Brent, then you have no way to keep me in line, and I will fuck your world up." She's angry. She's a little angry at this point. After you destroy all of them, he's like, "You know what? Just come over here. Come to the. I think it's called the Crocodile. Is the place he tells you to meet him at." So you run there to find your brother, so that you can escape finally. And as you enter the building, somehow he sneaks up on you, jacks you in the neck with God knows what. And you start tripping balls, which is actually kind of fun the way they did this.
Yeah, I thought this was awesome.
It kind of starts off normal, and you're just fighting off like DUP. And then it just gets like super fuzzy. You start seeing trails, all kinds of fun, trippy stuff. And then as you kill like the last DUP guy, all of a sudden you're like super tiny Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in the lawn of your parents' like house. And then the door opens and you see them, and it's like a big flashback of when they turned you in and Brent saving you and you running away. And you run through like one of the DUP's character's legs, and then all of a sudden you're transported into this really weird like tunnel vision city. There's this creepy like skeleton at the end, like just he doesn't do anything to you. You can just see him like at the very end of it. And so you run along and you're like shooting DUP agents that randomly come out, and they'll grab you and hold you for a little bit. She starts freaking out and like relapses to when a time that Brent was hiding her stash from her. She's like, "Where's my stuff? Where's my stash?" And kapow. Back to reality. Oh, I just shot a hole through my brother's chest into the wall with neon laser powers.
I love this part because the way it's explained in Second Son, she's like, "Yeah, I accidentally killed him and all that jazz." But the way that it like shows her mental state and how it kind of devolved as like she was going through this drug she went through rehab or whatever, got clean, and she's like going through this drug process again. Yep. And how it affected her mind and how it actually made her do this, I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, I thought it's really cool. I liked Fetch's story. I liked it already in the original Second Son, but it's definitely the one that resonates the most because I'm a drug addict. But But I think they did retcon a little bit because I think I remember in Second Son they say Fetch says that like she killed him because he was hiding her stash and trying to make her quit, which is something that already happened quite a bit previously in the timeline we get here.
Well, I mean, technically it works either way, right? Because that's why she killed him when she was in like that drug-induced state, because she thought that he was hiding her stash again.
Yeah, she like relapsed.
So, I mean, I could see them kind of retconning it, but it works, I think, in either way. The one thing that I thought was kind of weird, and I don't know if this was different in Second Son, but I feel like the way they portrayed their parents in this was like they weren't necessarily like kicking her out of the house because she was, a conduit. It seemed like it was more like they were trying to get her help and make sure that she was taken care of. Whereas in Second Son, it was like, oh, they were just really shitty parents. They didn't want me because I was a conduit.
Yeah, because when you go to that flashback, you can hear her mom talking about Augustine, saying that she'll get the help that she needs here.
Yeah, and like this lady's going to help you. They're here to help you and teach you how to, control this and all that. It's like they didn't seem like they were bad people.
No, yeah, they portrayed them in Second Son like they were straight pieces of shit.
Yeah, like they just like wanted to get her out of here,
Yeah. But Augustine was a piece of shit, so.
And now Brent's dead.
So, remember we had this conversation, I think, of how long that crime scene was there, if it was before or after she got put away. Or like if Brent died after she escaped, I think. So that means that building was locked up for 2 years or so, because that's what it says in the flashback. Like, there's 2 years earlier, like when it would go a flashback to Seattle when you're playing as Fetch.
Oh.
So for the longest time, that just sat chained off like that for 2 years. Nobody fixed the wall, or I don't know. Just seemed weird. But meh.
Video
Maybe
games.
she ran faster than light in time travel. She just had to get the flux capacitor. So, yeah, you kill your brother. Augustine finds you now. This catches you up to where you were in the beginning of the game in the facility. Augustine says it was all Shane. Like, all of this happened to Brent because of Shane. Given the chance, would you kill him? Because you can. And door open, Shane standing there. What I don't get is, why does she just like scream and do the faster than light run directly into him and just knock him through a wall, and somehow he lives.
Yeah. That was
somehow
weird and dumb.
So I guess they just needed to video game it out and give you another level here.
You know, it'd been cool though if like she did that, but then we
Right.
found out that he was a conduit the whole time.
Yeah. And like he turned into like a sea animal.
with douchebag powers.
Yeah.
And then the next
Man,
Infamous,
back
you
down
get
to
to play as Shane. Just to really put the cherry on the douchebag Sunday there.
Cherry on the shit sandwich.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you get to play as the greatest douchebag of all, Shane.
This is
So-
what you get for complaining about Delson, you bastards.
I love this part. Like I wasn't expecting this either, you know, and I think that's why I like this little DLC thing a lot. Is there was a lot of stuff in here that was not expected. You know, I wasn't expecting the death of Jenny. I wasn't expecting, you know, that cool flashback sequence like with the drug-induced, you know, state when she
Yeah.
killed her brother. I mean, I was expecting that to happen, but I wasn't expecting the way it was portrayed to be done that well, and I wasn't expecting to go to Curtain K and like do this scene where you're like running through these snowy mountain cliffs and like fighting DUP agents trying to catch up to Shane. I thought this whole next sequence was like super well done.
Yeah. So it's obviously Augustine like has this all planned out, because you don't have any powers when you immediately get out and you see Shane stealing the armored transport, and all of a sudden you're followed by this drone that is for some reason filled with neon energy. So it eventually just crashes into a wall so you can get your powers. Like, obviously this is all orchestrated by Augustine, which she will say at the end anyway. So you get your powers, you're just basically fighting through the snow. You take out a bunch of DUP agents, you keep hearing them chasing Shane through the radio, till eventually he ends up crashing the armored transport, and you find it, rip open the door, nobody's in there, turn, and like he's like, what, I don't know, 40 feet away. Somehow found the worst cliff to climb out onto. You approach him, and then you get to punish him by like zapping. I think you zap like his knee with a nice neon bolt, and get him like the shoulder. It's like just punish. And he's like, Shane, or you're like, Brent's dead. Shane's like, well, I didn't kill him, you did.
That's a smart thing
Really,
to say in this
That's
situation.
the smartest
buddy.
thing. Yeah, he's like, oh god, just, you know, basically pleads for you to help him out prior to that, but then he's like, I ain't afraid of no junkie, and then he just pushes her. And when I did this part, I think, because I think you have to release the button to finally kill him. I probably had that button held for like a minute, where he's just like gurgling. He's like, like he's got like your hands on his jaw.
Yeah, I let that sit for a little while.
And then, yeah, when you kill him, it's super cool. Like, he just vaporizes. You just like push him out.
You just like atomize
vaporizes
him. It's
him.
amazing.
Yeah, into like neon gas, and just floats away in the wind. And then she's just like, and then Chopper flies by,
Yeah, but then
and you find then
sorry, go ahead.
Augustine's like, oh, she killed the civilian. Augustine's like, excellent, she is ready. So obviously she was doing this to make her the weapon
Yeah.
that she wanted for a second.
And then during that last cutscene, don't you get on the transport with the other two So
Yeah,
this is
that
immediately
part,
subsequent.
yeah, you get loaded onto the transport with Hank and Eugene, and Hank gives you a little winky wink, and then he's like,
I like that
Flash
part.
paperclip.
When
Yep,
he
the
gives
paper
that little,
clip.
when he looks at her and gives her that little wink, I was like, this guy's not so bad.
He was just trying to get to
It's
his
kinda
daughter,
bad.
but then he killed. He
And then you
ended up
guys
being
choked
dead.
that motherfucker to death, but that's okay.
Yep, I'd do it again.
He got Reggie killed. All right,
Hey, I'm just saying.
and thus ends First Light.
Thus ends Infamous, probably forever. Damn.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that very well could be, unless they really take a hard left or right.
Or just give it
It's
to
a
somebody
great
else.
ending, though.
Infamous.
Just like that whole sequence when you're going out on the cliff and fighting those agents. It's so fun though, and I like the environment is so different.
Yeah,
And again, it's the thing that like about this DLC that kind of makes me mad is like, why couldn't they do this in Second Son? You know, why couldn't you go to a different area for a second? Like you get the longhouse, like beachfront area tutorial to teach you how
Yeah.
to jump and all that shit. But then you're just stuck in Seattle, where it's like this. You go to like the one part of Seattle, then you have the cliffs, and then you have the fighting arenas, and it's just
Well,
there
you
was
get that
a lot
small
more
little-
variation.
video game area in Second Son.
Oh yeah, it was super cool.
Yeah, I mean, even the
we
first
thought it was
Infamous
pretty
had
cool a week
quite-
ago.
No, go ahead, Chris.
No, sorry. I was just saying, I do think that video game area was pretty cool, but
It was.
Yeah, and the boss
It was
fight's fun,
short,
but
though, yeah.
that's the thing is it's too short. You go
It
in
is
there for that one boss fight, and then it's over. It's like fuck. I
Yeah.
would like to go back and do something cool like that.
And thinking about it now, like even the first Infamous has pretty expansive sewer system you have to explore to reconnect electrical substations, which give you new powers. And Infamous 2, like they're in fake Baton Rouge or Louisiana. You know, they're down in Louisiana, so the biome itself is more varied. You go from the city, you go into the swamps. So even though it's all the same map, it feels,
Yeah,
more
Yeah.
different.
There's still different, biomes to it. It's not
Mhm.
just, They made it rain, I think, in Second Son.
Oh, it was raining.
there was that
Seattle.
area with like the Chinese lamps. You guys remember that? The block with the Chinese lamps? That was pretty
Oh,
various.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
More
Oh,
city, but
that's-
differently colored.
Yeah.
a little bit different architecture to the buildings.
The very north end of the map, you can kind of see some trees and walk around in the grass.
Oh yeah,
True story.
Mhm.
So, do you think that First Light was better than Second Son?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
Hands down.
for sure.
hands down.
How much
Yeah.
do you think they spent on First Light compared to, not like an actual dollar amount, but like a percentage-wise, how much was spent on First Light compared to Second Son?
Well,
Like per capita adjusted.
Yeah.
that's a hard question
Hmm.
because they already have a lot of the tech established from Second Son to begin with, that they spent money there.
That's true.
Because a lot of that is
Yeah,
taken
the world,
early over.
the world was already there. They just took that first part and were just like, okay.
It's
well, now-
also like, what was this in their overall plan with Infamous? You know, was this something that was planned from the get-go? Was this an afterthought, a before thought? I mean, where was this supposed to be at? So that's one of the things I always thought was interesting while I was playing it, was where did they take the time to sit down and like, this is what we're going to do next, and then we're never going to do anything ever again.
Yeah, it was like, oops, we made a stinker with Second Son, so this will be a little redeeming fact. Or, yeah, was it always planned as DLC?
How quickly did this drop after Second Son?
It came out the same year.
Same year. So I mean, I probably during production they realized they wanted to drop a DLC along
Yeah,
with
go in
it.
her story.
Yeah.
But why didn't they do something with Hank and Eugene then?
That would have
They
been cool.
did. They were in the last
Hank.
cutscene.
But I'm saying, like, if they was playing DLC, you think they would have, if they would have delved into each one of those characters, you know, what they should have done is done that in the game, like
I
Second
think-
Son itself,
yeah.
and then taken a bunch of that dumb frickin' phone hunting crap out.
The reason they probably didn't make new DLCs is that Hank and Eugene stories didn't revolve around Seattle, so they would have had to make a new map.
But still, like, it wouldn't have had to have been like a
mean-
big. It wouldn't have had to have been a big one because they could
Yeah,
use
I think
30K.
he nailed it. He's right. That's exactly. Yeah, didn't want to make new assets. We're the new DLC.
they still could have had you going around Curtin K. They already had to design some stuff for that. Like they had to have fleshed out some sort of a facility.
But it's a middling amount of work compared to, I don't know. I feel like DLC for those also of the 3 conduits we meet in Second Son, like Fetch is the one that I wanted to know more about. Like in my mind, that is the character that should have been expanded. I'm glad that they chose that one because I don't need to know Eugene's story. I've lived it, and Hank's just a criminal. Like,
well, the thing
You
with
don't know that because he was trying to save his daughter. Like,
well,
there
the
could
thing
have
with
been a lot
Fetch
more.
too is as that game was progressing, they were building her up to be a bigger part of that story, you know. And then it was like as Eugene was introduced, they're like just threw her off for no fucking reason. But you're leading up to that point for so long,
yeah,
of like
and
trying to figure out who she is. I feel like that took forever. And then go ahead. Sorry.
That's probably why mid-production. That's why I think mid-production is when they decided to make this DLC. I think they were making all of Fetch's story, and then they're like, "Wait, we have a whole nother conduit we need to fit in here. We don't want this game to be 60 hours. We want this like a tight 20, 30-hour experience." So they had to cut back on things, and then decided to, all this story that they'd already had written, all these ideas for this character, they decided to flesh out more in the DLC.
Well, that's like when we started the second episode for Second Son. I was like, were you guys surprised the amount of like the lack of Fetch because of how they were like moving her along, and then all of a sudden she just shows up twice.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the whole second half of that game. I don't know. I just figured like if they were gonna do a DLC, I suppose they never really did a lot past for DLC for the other games.
Yeah, just the 1 for 2.
What was that? The blood one where you're like a vampire or some shit.
That was a fun DLC.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess I don't know.
So that's it for Infamous First Light.
That's it for First Light.
Yep. We did it. We beat the infamy.
The infamy.
We are now infamous.
So we are currently doing Resident Evil 7, parenthesis, colon, Ryan craps his pants. If you would
That'll
like
be out
to
on
join,
YouTube soon.
Yes, the actual crapping of the pants. You can see the exact.
The actual pants themselves will be for sale on eBay.
Jesus.
Get them now while they're still hot. While they're steaming. If you would like to participate in that, you can give us an email. We will be recording that on October 22nd. It looks like, which would be 2 Thursdays from now.
The whole game.
The whole game.
We're doing the whole thing. And nothing but the game. So help you God.
And then we'll do a bonus. We'll do a bonus podcast on how hard it is to get the stains out of Ryan's pants.
Also, quick question: do we want to throw in the Not a Hero DLC?
I don't know what that is.
It's free DLC that is like kind of like an epilogue to the story where you play as a character. I don't want to say anything else about it.
Sure. Why
but
not?
it's only about like
free.
2 hours long. It's not very long. And it really is. I think it's the real conclusion to this game.
Then I think we have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Real quick, we created a channel in the Discord. If you join the Discord, there's a channel in the Discord to leave your comments if you would rather do that instead of sending an email. I know a lot of people don't send a lot of emails these days, so that's fine if you want to do it that way. It's more convenient. And also, I want to say, even though we're not covering all the DLC, we're covering Not a Hero now. Thanks for telling me. No, I'm kidding. But we won't be covering all of it, but feel free to write in about it still. We'll still read your comments, especially if you played, like, what is it, Ethan Must Die, the weird roguelike mode. I want to hear your comments about that.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think any of us are playing on Madhouse, which is basically a different game with the enemy arrangements and stuff, so feel free to write in about that. Make the show better.
Yeah, and that's spelunkers@gmail.com for the email. Spelunkerspodcast@gmail.com.
All the
we'll
links,
get that eventually.
Yeah, all the links will be in the description for the YouTube or the podcast that you are now listening to or watching.
Twitter.com/thespelunkers.
There's lots of fun stuff that happens on Twitter.
I think that Twitter is great. I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't know who's running that, but they're doing it.
Some of the best jokes we have come from that Twitter account.
Yes.
Twitch.tv.
Oh yeah, twitch.tv/spelunkers.
Spelunkers. We are also streaming things. We got Wasteland 3 going on with Ryan and Chris. At some point, we will do more Drake's Hollow
With Stubbs.
with
Robin,
Robin.
sorry.
But we're like halfway through the game now.
Yeah, but we can just give him all of our good shit. He'll be fine. Pick it up.
We stream randomly. Things will happen. Panda runs around naked.
But
What?
I don't know. I didn't miss that part.
I
do
said
stream.
Panda. I didn't say Tyler. I said Panda runs around naked.
We do stream consistently on Sundays, though. While those streams that we're talking about are sporadic, every Sunday we do have a stream at
Of something.
9 a.m. Pacific.
Noon Eastern.
11 Central.
10
There you
o'clock
go.
somewhere.
Time zones, baby. Time zones. And we're going to be streaming more Resident Evil 7 in VR.
Are we? We haven't talked about it, but we'll let you guys know on Twitter.
We are now.
Lock it in.
It is set in stone. So yeah, you can join us this Sunday doing something. Even if Ryan doesn't want to do Resident Evil, maybe we'll get some Spelunky in or something.
Or some squadrons. We could do some squadrons.
Yeah, we've been doing some squadrons. It's a good game. It's a good game.
It's a good game.
It's pretty good.
And then when we are back next time, we will have a new game for you that we will be doing an exploration on. We don't know what it is yet, I don't think.
Nope.
And we might just end up playing games with Ryan's heart, and that's what the game will be.
I didn't know my ex was on this podcast. All right.
Ooh.
Maybe a future ex.
Well, two of us are married, so Chris, that leaves you, I guess.
I'm just 2 dots on the screen. You can't even see it.
Now he wants to be 2 dots on the screen.
If you look at those 2 dots, they are chasing each other.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, symbolism.
It's like Intertwined or whatever, that game Intertwined, but on a podcast.
But thanks everybody that's listening and watching this fantastic, fun sideshow that we're doing. I believe we have a lot of fun doing it. We
Have a lot of fun.
seem to have a lot of fun.
I'm miserable.
It's a great time. So we will see you on our streams in the Discord, or 2 Thursdays from now, October the 22nd, with the iterations of Ryan's sadness coming from Resident Evil 7. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Bye.
Bye.